The champagne flute in Maya's hand was ready to shatter. She wasn't squeezing it out of anger, she was squeezing it to keep her hands from shaking. The ballroom at the Plaza Hotel in New York City was spinning. Too many diamonds, too many tuxedos, too many cameras flashing like lightning in a summer storm. And then there was the hand on the small of her back. It felt heavy, possessive. It belonged to Julian Thorne, CEO of Thorne Industries, the man whose face was on every business magazine in the kiosk. The man who had just fired 300 people before breakfast last Tuesday. Maya tried to pull away. Just an inch, his grip tightened, he leaned down, his lips brushed her ear. To the photographers it looked like a moment of intimacy, a secret shared between lovers, but Maya could feel the coldness radiating off him. Smile. Maya froze. Smile, Maya, pretend to love me. Right now. Or you lose everything. The job, the insurance, the apartment, all of it. Maya stopped breathing. She looked up at him. His eyes were the color of the Atlantic Ocean in winter. Gray, deep, dangerous. He wasn't joking. Julian Thorne didn't joke. Why? The word was barely a sound, because my grandmother is watching and she needs to believe I have a heart. He squeezed her waist again. Show her, Maya, or get out. Maya looked across the room. She saw the old woman in the wheelchair, Eleanor Thorne, the Iron Matriarch. She was watching them like a hawk circling a field mouse. Then Maya thought about the stack of letters on her kitchen counter. Final notice, past due. Coverage denied. She thought about her little brother Toby, the sound of his wheezing at night, the cost of the inhalers that kept his lungs working. She had $12 in her bank account. Julian knew that. He had seen her file. He knew exactly where to press to make her bleed. So Maya didn't run. She didn't slap him. She turned her body toward him. She reached up. She placed a trembling hand on his cheek. It was warm. She looked into those cold, gray eyes, and she smiled. It was the best performance of her life. Darling, you look tired. Julian blinked. He hadn't expected her to speak. For a split second the mask slipped. He looked surprised, maybe even impressed. Then the camera flashes went off. Blind, white, endless. Little did Maya know, that single smile had just signed a contract she couldn't break. And she had no idea that the man holding her didn't just need a fake girlfriend, he needed a shield, and he was planning to use her until there was nothing left. The car ride home was silent, not the comfortable silence of a long day ending, the suffocating silence of a bomb waiting to go off. Julian sat on the other side of the limousine, typing on his phone. The blue light washed over his face, making him look like a ghost. Maya stared out the window. The New York streets blurred into streaks of neon. She felt sick. She had just lied to the world. She had just sold her dignity for health insurance. The privacy glass rolled down. Julian didn't look up. We have an agreement then. Is that what we're calling it? Blackmail feels more accurate. Julian finally set the phone down. He looked at her. Call it what you want. The terms are simple, 6 months. You play the role of the devoted fiancé. You attend the galas. You charm the board. You make my grandmother happy. And in return, full medical coverage for you and your brother. A stipend of $10,000 a month. And when it's over, a glowing recommendation for any job you want. Maya's heart hammered against her ribs. 10,000, that would pay off the debt. That would get Toby into the specialist in Boston. It was a lifeline, but looking at Julian, she saw the trap. He was looking at her the way a butcher looks at a side of beef. Assessing the value, checking for flaws. Why me? You could have any model in the city. You could hire an actress. Julian laughed. It was a short, sharp sound, no humor in it. Actresses want fame. Models want money. You, Maya. You want survival. He leaned forward. Desperation makes people loyal. I can't afford a mistake. My grandmother controls 51% of the company. She thinks I'm a robot. She wants to see me settle down before she signs over the shares. So I'm a prop. You're an asset. The car pulled up to the curb of her crumbling apartment building in Queens. Julian looked out the window. He sneered slightly at the graffiti on the door. We'll move you into the penthouse tomorrow. Pack light. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a ring box. He tossed it to her. She caught it. She opened it. A diamond the size of a grape stared back. It was cold, heavy. Wear it. Don't take it off, not even to shower. Maya looked at the ring, then she looked at him. Does your grandmother know you're a monster? Julian picked up his phone again. My grandmother made me a monster, Maya. She'll love you. The driver opened the door. Maya stepped out into the rain. The car pulled away before she even made it to the front stoop. She stood there, clutching the velvet box. She felt the weight of the diamond in her hand. It felt like a handcuff. She went inside. She checked on Toby. He was sleeping, his breath rattling in his chest. She sat on the edge of his bed and put the ring on. It fit perfectly, too perfectly, and that scared her more than anything else. 3 weeks later, Maya was drowning, not in water, in silk and expectations. She was living in Julian's penthouse on Fifth Avenue. It was a museum, not a home. White marble floors, glass walls, furniture that looked like it would break if you sat on it wrong. And Julian was everywhere. He was critical, he was precise, he was relentless. Wrong fork, stand up straighter, don't laugh so loud. He was chipping away at her piece by piece, trying to sculpt her into the perfect thorn accessory. But then came the night of the thunderstorm. It was 2 a.m. The sky cracked open over Manhattan. Thunder shook the glass walls of the penthouse. Maya woke up screaming. She couldn't help it. It was a reflex, a memory from childhood she couldn't erase. The fire, the noise, the night her parents didn't make it out. She sat up in the guest bed, gasping for air, tears streaming down her face. The door flew open. Julian stood there. He was wearing sweatpants. His chest was bare. He held a baseball bat. He scanned the room. No intruder, no danger, just a terrified woman shaking in the dark. He lowered the bat. Go away, please. Julian didn't leave. He walked into the room. He set the bat down. He sat on the edge of the bed, not too close, just close enough. Panic attack. His voice was different. The velvet was gone. It was just quiet. Maya nodded. She couldn't speak. Julian looked at the rain lashing against the window. I used to hide in the closet. Maya looked at him. What? When the storms came, my father, he used to drink when it rained. And when he drank, he got loud. So I hid in the closet under the wool coats. They muffled the sound. He looked at his hands. Count backward from 10, Maya, in French. It forces your brain to switch tracks. Maya stared at him. I don't know French. He looked at her. A tiny, almost invisible smile touched his lips. Then I'll teach you, Dix, Noof, Hewitt. He sat there for an hour. He didn't touch her. He just counted. And when her breathing slowed, when the tears stopped, he stood up. The mask slid back into place. We have brunch with a leaner tomorrow at noon. Wear the blue dress. It makes you look innocent. He walked to the door. Julian. He stopped. Thank you. He didn't turn around. Don't read into it, Maya. I need you rested. Puffy eyes don't sell the romance. He closed the door, but Maya had seen it, just for a second, the boy hiding under the coats, the boy who was just as scared as she was. She touched the ring on her finger. It felt a little less cold tonight, and that was a problem, because falling for the jailer was the one thing not covered in the contract. The brunch with a leaner Thorne was an ambush. It wasn't at a restaurant. It was at the Thorne estate in the Hamptons, a sprawling Gothic mansion that looked like it ate happiness for breakfast. Eleanor sat at the head of the table. She was 80 years old and sharp as a scalpel. She didn't eat, she just watched. So, you're the one? I hope so, Mrs. Thorne. Eleanor laughed, a dry, rattling sound. Hope is for the poor, dear. Certainty is for us. She turned her gaze to Julian. She's pretty, Julian, but does she have teeth? She can handle herself, grandmother. We'll see. She turned back to Maya. Tell me, Maya, how much is he paying you? The room went dead silent. The servants froze. Julian froze. Maya felt her blood turn to ice. Excuse me. Oh, stop it. I know my grandson. He doesn't love. He acquires. He negotiates. He purchased you. I just want to know the price tag. Was it $1 million? 2. Julian stood up. His chair scraped loudly against the floor. That's enough. Sit down, Julian. No. He walked around the table. He stood behind Maya's chair. He put his hands on her shoulders. This time the grip wasn't possessive. It was protective. She isn't an acquisition. She's the only real thing in this entire rotted family. Eleanor's eyes narrowed. Careful, boy. You're risking your inheritance. Keep it. He grabbed Maya's hand. Come on, we're leaving. He pulled her up. He marched her out of the dining room, past the stunned staff, and out to the car. He drove fast, too fast. When they were 5 miles away, he pulled over to the side of the road and killed the engine. He slammed his hands against the steering wheel. Damn it. Maya watched him. Her heart was racing. He had defended her. He had risked everything for her. Julian, he turned to her. His eyes were wild. She knows it's a fake. She's going to cut me off, the company, the legacy, it's gone. Maya reached out, she took his hand, maybe that's a good thing. Julian looked at her, really looked at her. You don't get it, do you? Without the company, I am nothing. I am just broken, no. She unbuckled her seatbelt. She leaned across the console. She kissed him. It wasn't part of the contract. There were no cameras, no audience. It was just them. And for a moment, Julian kissed her back. He kissed her like a drowning man finding air, then he pulled away. He stared at her horrified. We can't. Why not? Because I destroy everything I touch, and I can't destroy you. He started the car. He drove her back to the city in silence, but the air had changed. The line had been crossed, and Maya knew the truth now. He wasn't cold because he didn't care. He was cold because he cared too much. But what she didn't know was that Julian had already made a choice that would save her and break her heart. 2 days later, Maya walked into the penthouse. It was empty. Julian's things were there, but the house felt dead. There was a large manila envelope on the kitchen island. It had her name on it. She opened it. Inside was a check, $200,000, and a note, contract terminated, effective immediately. You are free. Maya stared at the paper. Free. No, this wasn't freedom, this was a dismissal. She grabbed her phone, she called him. Straight to voicemail, she called his assistant. Mr. Thorne is at the press conference. He's announcing the new direction. Maya hung up. She turned on the TV. There he was. Julian was standing at a podium. He looked tired. He looked defeated, as of today. I am stepping down as CEO of Thorne Industries. The reporters shouted questions. Why? Why now? Julian looked right into the camera. Because I realized that to lead this company, I had to become someone I hate. And I met someone recently who reminded me that I don't have to be that man. Maya dropped the remote. He was giving it up, all of it, for her. She didn't think. She just ran. She ran out of the building. She hailed a cab. Thorne Tower, go. Traffic was a nightmare. She got out 3 blocks away and ran. Her heels clicked against the pavement. Her breath burned in her throat. She burst into the lobby. Security tried to stop her. I need to see him. The elevator doors opened. Julian walked out. He was carrying a cardboard box, just a regular box. He stopped when he saw her. Maya, you should be gone. You have the money. Toby is safe. I don't want the money. People were staring. She didn't care. She walked up to him. She poked him in the chest. You fired me? By note, coward. Julian looked down at her. His eyes were soft. I set you free, Maya. My world, it's poison. You were right. I'm a monster, but I can be a good monster if I stay away from you. Maya grabbed his tie. She pulled his face down to hers. You're not a monster, Julian. You're just a man who forgot how to use an umbrella in a storm. She looked at the box in his hands. So, you're unemployed now? Technically, yes. Good, because I'm hiring. Julian blinked. Hiring for what? For a partner. The pay is terrible, the hours are long, and my apartment has a leak in the roof. She took a breath, but the love is real. Julian dropped the box. Pens and staplers scattered across the marble floor. He didn't care. He wrapped his arms around her. He buried his face in her neck. He was shaking. Say it again. I love you, Julian, for real. He pulled back. He looked at her. The gray eyes weren't cold anymore. They were bright. I love you, Maya. He kissed her, and this time there were cameras. The paparazzi were outside the glass doors, flashing away, but neither of them noticed, because for the first time in his life, Julian Thorne wasn't performing, he was living. 6 months later, they started a consultancy firm. Small, ethical, they worked out of Maya's kitchen table. Toby sat in the living room doing his homework, breathing easy. Julian was on the phone negotiating a deal. He was wearing jeans. He looked over at Maya. She was making coffee. She caught his eye. She smiled. He smiled back. No whisper, no threat, no contract, just a look that said everything. She hadn't lost everything. She had found the only thing that mattered, and all it took was a little pretend.